deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? Let some of y'all get through here real quick before we get started. Make sure you hit that like button when you come through here now. Come on. Make sure you hit that like button when you come through here. Already. What's good with you, big bro? What's good? Make sure you hit that like button when you come through here now before we get started. Got a lot to talk about, especially I just got some information that I definitely want to chime in and talk about as well before we get into it. But make sure you hit that like button now. I see more people coming here. Make sure you hit that like button now. Let's some of y'all get through here real quick before we get started and get going. We're gonna talk about exactly lives on the line. We finally made it here. We've made it here. We here now. We made it here now. We ain't got to the point. We ain't got to the point that we've been asking for, waiting for. Yeah, I see y'all starting to come through here. Make sure that like button now. So as it stands, as the AFC playoffs look going into the last week of the season, it's a whole bunch of different outcomes. But as it stands right now, you have the Baltimore Ravens, number one seed, got it clinched. They locked down number one seed. Baltimore Ravens, 3-13, number one seed. Miami Dolphins have clinched the playoff spot, but have not clinched the division yet. They're sitting at the second seed, and they're sitting second seed 11-5. Kansas City Chiefs won the clinched the division, so they sitting up there in the third spot at 10-6. Jacksonville are the fourth spot, the last division leader as it stands right now. Don't have the division, don't have a playoff spot clinched just yet. Have to win to clinch the playoff spot. Have to win to clinch the division. They sitting up there at 9-7. The Cleveland Browns, they have clinched a spot as a wild card. 11-5. Can't win the division, but they stuck at the 5 spot, 11-5. And then you have the Buffalo Bills, who are the 6th spot at 10-6, have yet to clinch a playoff spot. Battling for division, we're going to talk about that in a minute. The Indianapolis Colts in the last wild card spot, and it stands right now in the 7th spot at 9-7. And on the outside looking in is us, Houston Texans at 9-7. We already know when to get in. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're on the outside looking in at 9-7 as well. Have a chance to get in both ways. They're the only team outside of they're the only team I think outside of Buffalo. Buffalo and Pittsburgh are the only teams that could get a playoff spot with a loss. They can still clinch a playoff spot with a loss. The Jacksonville, if they lose, Jacksonville can't clinch the playoff spot. They can get a playoff spot with a loss. So Jacksonville, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh are the only teams that could still get in even with a loss. Pittsburgh need a lot of funny stuff to happen for them to get a playoff spot with a loss. And they also need some stuff to happen. It also needs some stuff to happen in playoff win. It's just a weird tiebreaker. But like I'm saying right now, Houston, we already know the Texans, if they win, they in the playoffs. Already know. That's it. Now, these are the potential matchups and possibilities for the Houston Texans. The Texans could be the 4th spot. The Texans could be the 4th spot and host the Cleveland Browns with a win, obviously, against Indy, because you got to win. Because the Texans lose, they're out of the playoffs. So the Texans have to beat Indy. With a win against Indy, they get into the playoffs. They will win the division with a Jacksonville Jaguar loss. They will host the Cleveland Browns. They'll be the 4th seed. Cleveland Browns will be the 5th seed, and they will host the Cleveland Browns. The Texans, if the Jags win, if the Jags win, and the Jags win, obviously they don't win the division. And Miami beats the Dolphins, the Texans will be the 6th spot in the playoffs and will go to Kansas City, which is the 3rd spot. If the Texans, if the Jags win the division and the Texans go in as a wild card and Miami loses to the Buffalo Bills, the Buffalo Bills will now host the division and will host the NFC East. They'll be the 2nd seed. The Texans will be the 7th seed, and they will have to travel to Buffalo. And one of the most unlikely outcomes, but still is a possibility on the table, the Texans as the 7th seed, if the Jags win the division, obviously, and the Miami Dolphins and the Bills in their game in a tie, the Texans will go to Miami. Miami will win the division. So Miami wins the division with a win or a tie. The Bills win the division with a win. So if the Bills win the division and the Texans don't win theirs, we will go to Buffalo. If the Dolphins win the division and we don't win ours, we will go to Kansas City. If we don't win our division and the Dolphins and the Bills tie, we will go to Buffalo. We will go to Miami. if the Texans win their division, it's like if Jacksonville loses on Sunday, which we are hoping for, the Texans will host the game against the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, that's my favorite outcome. If the Houston Texans win the division, I want as many games possible, as many games possible I want as many games possible at home, and obviously you get the Cleveland Browns at home. I would prefer that. I would prefer that. I ain't gonna lie to you. The outcome that I prefer the least is going to Buffalo. I don't want to go up to Buffalo as the. I feel like Buffalo was rolling right now. Buffalo is one of the hottest, one of the best teams in football playing right now. I would hate to not only go up there, but also go up there with those receivers that we have, the receivers that the Texans have in that cold weather. I don't want that. I don't want that. I would prefer. I would have the Texans hosting the Browns as my number one option. I think that's probably pretty much everyone's number one option. I know some people might have some quote unquote rivalry aspects. Oh, I want to play against Kansas City because I want to right the wrong of the 24-0 loss. I want to play against Buffalo because I want to have my we beat the hottest team in football right now outside the Ravens. I want to beat them. Some people will have that. Again, that's fine if that's how you live. That's what you want. That's not me personally. Me, I want it has nothing to do with opponents. Actually, it's all about I want to host a game. I want as many games at home. I don't care who's facing, as long as they're facing them at NRG Stadium. I want the opportunity to play at home. That's what I want. I want the opportunity and the capability and the ability to go out there against whoever we play against and we face them at NRG Stadium. Not only that, I want as many opportunities as I possibly can. Because if you're a 7 seed, you're guaranteed to play on the road. And even if you beat Buffalo or Miami as a 7 seed, you know who you're going to the divisional round against? You're going up against the Baltimore Ravens in the divisional round. The Texans have never been to an AFC Championship game. I'm trying to get to an AFC Championship game, and if not, or a Super Bowl. That's what I'm trying to get to, especially in D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud's first year as being the head coach and the quarterback of an NFL franchise. So that's what I'm looking for. So I would prefer the game against Cleveland. Again, that's a game, like I said last week, that's a game where you can be right or wrong and getting revenge about what happened last week on Christmas Eve against the Cleveland Browns. And also, it also helps out your draft stats as well. Because if you beat the Cleveland Browns, the pick that you have will now be a more valuable pick than the pick that you gave the Arizona Cardinals because you'll be going on into the playoffs while Cleveland Browns will be sent home. So that's another reason why you should want the Cleveland Browns as well. So there's also draft implications involved in that as well. But I digress. Like I said, the next outcome, me personally, is actually going to Kansas City. Going to Kansas City. That's the next one. Because I do think that the Kansas City Chiefs, I've been saying this all year long. I've been saying this all year long. And people was calling me crazy. A lot of people y'all know who y'all was. People was out there calling me crazy when I said I believe the Kansas City Chiefs was going to lose their first playoff game. And I felt like that playoff game was going to be a wild card game. Now, I thought Miami was going to win the AFC. I thought Miami was going to have home field for the AFC and to beat the Baltimore Ravens. Even though Miami had an opportunity going to last week, but just completely fell flat on their face. But I think the next opportunity will be the Kansas City Chiefs. I think going into Kansas City, they're not the Kansas City Chiefs that we've known them to be. Now their defense is a very legitimate defense, but they don't have any receivers. Their receivers constantly drop passes. They are not consistent when it comes to the receiving game and things like that. So because of that, I do think you have an opportunity and a chance to go out there and to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's why that would be my second preferred method. And also the 6th seed, you still have a chance and opportunity to host a playoff game, even though it's very, very, very slim. Like the only way it is if you face a 7th seed, and that would be in the AFC Championship game. But again, there is a chance and opportunity. So as long as that chance opportunity is available, you might possibly be able to play a home playoff game. I'm cool with that. And then also if you beating Kansas City. That means the Bills would be the 7th seed. That's in that standpoint, if I'm not mistaken. The Bills will be the 7th seed because Kansas City would have won the division. The Bills will be the 7th seed. Who would be the 3rd seed? Would it be Jacksonville? Trying to think because I'm trying to think who else would be the potential matchups because you'll be beating the 2nd seed. Oh yeah, Jacksonville will be the 4th seed. So potentially you could also end up going to Jacksonville the following week. But the next one is at Miami. I would rather go to Miami than go to Buffalo because it's Miami. It's warm weather. They're gonna rain a lot in Florida, but it's warmer weather. You don't have to deal with the snow and you don't have to deal with the snow and the cold and things like that. And even though they do have some dangerous weapons, they are out there fast. They do have some dangerous weapons. I do think that there is opportunities and chances to be had in that situation. So my preferred methods obviously win division, go against Cleveland. Second is going to Kansas City. That's really mostly on the strength of that you still have an opportunity to host a game. It's slim, but you still have an opportunity to host a game. Third would be going to Miami, and last is going to Buffalo. And those are the three. Those are the potential four opponents that the Texans can have. Like I said, for y'all who didn't hear, let me rephrase it: the Houston Texans, with if the Texans win against the Colts and the Jags lose, they will host the Cleveland Browns. It'll be 4-5, and the Texans will host the Cleveland Browns. If the Texans if the Texans beat Indy, but the Jags win the division still, but Miami beats the Bills, the Houston Texans will be the 6th seed, and they will go to Kansas City. If the Buffalo Bills happen to beat the Miami Dolphins, and the Texans just beat Indy, and the Jacksonville Jaguars win the AFC South, the Texans will be the 7th seed, and they will go to Buffalo, which will be the 2nd seed. And then if the Bills and the Dolphins end in a tie, and the Texans don't win the division, the Texans are the 7th seed, and the Texans will go to Miami, which will be the 2nd seed. Those are the playoff matchups. Those are the playoff matchups. You could be hosting Cleveland or going to Kansas City, to Buffalo, to Miami. Those are the opportunities. Those are the ways and the matchups the Houston Texans can play. And like I said earlier, especially with the whole going against Cleveland. If the Texans win division, the Texans are the 4th seed. More than likely, the Buffalo Bills, in that standpoint, will be the 7th seed. The best situation, personally, for me, is I think the Houston Texans, best thing for the Houston Texans is the Texans win division, they be the 4th seed. And the Buffalo Bills don't win the AFC East, and the Buffalo Bills are the 7th seed, and the Miami Dolphins are the 2nd seed. The reason why is because I still think that Buffalo possibly can beat Miami in a playoff game, even though they're playing this week on Sunday Night Football for basically for all the marbles. If they go out there and they play them in a playoff game, because it's hard to beat a team 3 times. It's hard to beat a team 3 times, and it's also hard to beat a team in back-to-back weeks. This very rarely happens in the NFL level because the way schedules does it. So if the Bills go into the Dolphins and beat the Dolphins, the Bills are the 7th seed. The number 1 seed, the Ravens, who are coming off a bye week, that's who they play. They play the worst ranked seed. So whatever the seeding is, whoever is the worst ranked seed. So the Texans will be the 4th seed. In this situation, the Baltimore Ravens would be. The Baltimore Ravens would be the 1 seed. Miami is the 2 seed. Kansas City the 3 seed. Houston the 4 seed. Cleveland the 5 seed. I think it would be Jackson. Not Jacksonville. It would be Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh be the 6th seed. Pittsburgh be the 6th seed. Buffalo be Pittsburgh be the 6th seed. Buffalo be the 7th seed. Buffalo beats Miami, and then Buffalo turns around and faces the Baltimore Ravens at home. They host the Baltimore Ravens will host the Buffalo Bills. The Houston Texans be the 4th seed. The Houston Texans beat the Cleveland Browns. The Houston Texans will face the winner of Kansas City or the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if Pittsburgh knocks off Kansas City, you're hosting a playoff game. That's the reason why I want the Texans to win the division, because there's opportunity. You can host a playoff game in the next round. Because you'll host you'll play the winner of Kansas City or or Pittsburgh. You'll play the winner of that. You'll play the winner of 3 versus 6. If you're playing the winner versus 3 versus 6, you know what that means? You have a potential to host a playoff game if the 6th seed wins. And then again, if Buffalo knocks off the Ravens, which is not far-fetched for the Buffalo Bills to walk inside Baltimore and knock off the Baltimore Ravens, if they do that and you win your next playoff game, the Houston Texans is hosting the AFC Championship game. So there's ways and opportunities. Do I think that's a likely scenario? It's more than likely not going to happen. I'm not tripping about that, but I'm just saying you want to give yourself the opportunity. That's all I want to talk about. You just want to give yourself the opportunity and the means to possibly host any type of game. That's why I want to win the division. It's very key and very vital for the Houston Texans, in my opinion, to win the division. That's why That's why the matchup that I want the most is hosting the Cleveland Browns, because you win the 4th seed, you have a chance and opportunity, especially in this new format. Because back in the day when the 2 teams get bye weeks, if you play on Wild Card Sunday, you was playing on the road guaranteed. Because the Texans have been the 3 seed in the playoffs before. We've been the 4 seed in the playoffs before. We've never been a wild card team, and we've never been a 1 or 2 seed. So we've never been a wild card team on the road, and we've never been a number. We never had a bye week. We've never been a 1 or 2 seed. We've only been the 3 and the 4. That's the only time we have had. And in previous playoff scenarios and previous playoff iterations, the Texans, well, any team that won, any team that was playing a wild card weekend never had an opportunity to potentially host a future playoff game. With this new format, depending on how things slice up, as long as you win your division, you have a chance to play every game at home. You don't have to have home field advantage. Yes, if you have home field advantage, you are guaranteed every game at home. If you're second, or if you're the second, third, or fourth seed, you're guaranteed at least one home game, and then depends on how everything else shake up. Yeah, possibly get another one. The number 2 seed is guaranteed 2 home games if they win, because they're guaranteed a home game in the wild card round, and they also guaranteed a home game in the second round, because they'll still be the higher seed, because the higher seed always faces the next lowest seed. So that's how that's how the numbers work out. So what that does is that puts the Texans, or put any team in the wild card situation now in this new format. Any team that's 2, 3, or 4, they have a chance and opportunity in the next round to host a playoff game. They have a opportunity, a strong opportunity to host a potential playoff game if there's an upset in the previous round, and there's a chance and an opportunity if upsets continue to occur, then you can host every game in the playoffs. There is a chance and an opportunity. You just will have to give yourself that chance, opportunity. That's the reason why, for me, I've been saying this since, but that's why I was so angry and upset about I was so disappointed. I ain't gonna say angry. I was so hurt and disappointed in that Jags loss after Thanksgiving, because I'm like, I thought at that point in time that really cost us the division. Now, who knew that Trevor Lawrence was going to miss games and stuff like that? People might predict the Jacksonville Jaguars to fall off, but no one really predicted that Trevor Lawrence was going to get a concussion and get a high ankle sprain, and there's something wrong with his knee, and there's something wrong with his pinky, and something wrong with this, and something wrong with that. We wouldn't expect him to lose 4 straight games. People might expect them to have a slide and have a loss here and there, but they wasn't expecting them to slide like that. And the Texans slid themselves, because again, we weren't accounting to losing C.J. Stroud for 2 games. We weren't accounting to losing to the New York Jets and losing to the Cleveland Browns. Because if you don't lose C.J. Stroud and you don't lose C.J. Stroud, we're not actually in the situation, because I feel like we'll probably beat the Cleveland Browns on Christmas Eve, and we possibly will be lead the division that right now, and we would need Jacksonville to lose, because at the same right now we need Jacksonville to lose to the Tennessee Titans for the Texans to win the division. That's the only way the Texans get in and win the division, is by them losing the game. So we weren't expecting that going in. We're going into this last 5, 6, 7 game stretch after that Jazz game back in late November on Thanksgiving weekend. We wasn't expecting that. So again, a lot of things have changed. Kind of like how I tell people all the time when people say, "Oh man, we just had a good season. I don't care about the outcome. I'm just glad that we in this position. We playing with house money." No. Things change. Things change. Mindsets change. Going into the season, yeah, you won. Man, as long as we a good team and we know that CJ the guy, and D'Amico's the guy, and Willie Anderson's the guy, that these guys are the guys, and there's a good competitive team, I don't care what we end up in. As long as we going in right there, I don't care. As long as we going in, as long as we have it and looking good. As long as we looking good. But then as the season progresses and starts growing and start manifesting and starts coming, we start seeing what's going on, we start going on the road, we like, hey, we can make the playoffs. Hey, we can win the division. Things start changing a little bit. So now my mindset has changed. Now I can't go back to eating ramen noodles. You started giving me steak, lobster, and shrimp. So I can't go back to eating ramen noodles and hot dogs. I'm sorry. It was the same thing when you lost when Fogle wanted to leave and you want to give us these other quarterbacks. It was cool when we was eating ramen noodles and hot dogs back in the day, but you gave us steak and lobster and shrimp. Like that's when we started eating steak, lobster, and shrimp. Now I can't go back. I can't go back to eat noodles and hot dogs. No, it don't taste the same. I ain't trying to go back to that. My mindset is different now. My mindset is different now. I'm bougie now. No. Our mindset is different now, And that's what it is right now. The mindset is different, especially for the last couple of weeks. Hey, it's not just make the playoffs, it's actually potentially win the division. And because if you win the division and these things start transpiring, these things start happening, the Houston Texans not only can win the division, when we go to the playoffs, they can win the division and host multiple playoff games. Host multiple playoff games. So, hey, I'm trying to get this train going, man, for real. Hey, make sure you hit that like button. I see more people that jump to this thing, man. Make sure you hit that like button. What y'all here talking about? No, I don't think Nico's a number one receiver. I don't. I don't think Nico's a number one receiver. I think he's a solid number two, a great number three. That's why I think if you add a receiver, uh, draft free agency, hopefully in the draft, unless you get a big fish free agency like a Brandon Ayuk or Jettis, possibly maybe T Higgins, but T Higgins might be in the same realm, better than Nico, but somewhere in that same level type. If you get a big fish, bona fide number one receiver, and Nico is your number two, but possibly really your number three because when Tank come back, I think Tank goes in and is thrown into that number two role, and you have like I said, you say you make a trade for Brandon Ayuk, or you make a trade for Justin Jefferson, or you go out there and you draft the receiver in the draft, and then you have Tank and you have Nico. Nico's a great number three. If you tell me your three receivers or receiver whatever, Tank Dell and Nico Collins, that's great what you're doing for CJ Stroud. You're doing what the 49ers are doing for Brock Purdy, and what the Eagles are doing for Jalen Hurts, and what the Dolphins are doing for Tua, and what the Bengals were doing for Joe Burrow. You're doing all those type of things if you talk about adding a receiver to that standpoint. And you're loading up everything around him. You're loading up the arsenal, and you talking about throwing the football all over the field. We're talking about a guy who we were putting in the MVP conversation earlier this year. We're talking about a guy that will be putting, like I'm telling you, like next year, CJ Stroud is going to be talked about and looked at as a top five quarterback. I have CJ's going to be talked about and looked at as a top five quarterback. And I'm going to say it now because he's a rookie and they're very reluctant. We're going to get into that in a minute about being a rookie and then reluctant to do some things. We're going to talk about some Pro Bowl voting. But that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to when it comes to that, I think that you'll be when you give him a bona fide number one receiver, you're definitely growing around him, and like I said, he's gonna be looked at and talked about as a top five. He's gonna be looked at and talked about as a top five quarterback. And I don't think it will even be close. But no, but to your original point, and I don't see Nico being a bona fide number one receiver. As it stands right now, he's number one receiver on Texas right now today. But that's really mostly because Tank Dell's hurt, because Tank Dell was the number one receiver while he was out there. But he's not a true, strictly number one receiver. Who do you like in the draft class though? I like Rome. Rome is probably my number one receiver right now. I mean, obviously everybody knows Marlon, but we have no opportunity to get more. I'm talking about guys we can get Rome, Keon Coleman. Like I said, I constantly be honest. Like I know a lot of people talk about Malik Neighbors. I've seen some like flashes of them. I've seen like a couple highlights here and there. I haven't really sat back and watched Malik Neighbors, but from everything I hear, then he's probably going to go in the top 10 himself. So, but I don't really. Like I said, I haven't really watched a lot of film of him. I like uh, um, I like Worthy because I like the speed that he brings in. I know. A. Mitchell, in my personal opinion, the other night, A. Mitchell played better than him, but I do like this. I do like the speed that Xavier Worthy brings in. Also, you have Xavier Legend out of South Carolina. Then you also got Ime Ibuka, uh, out of Ohio State, who CJ has a relationship with, has familiarity with. They understand each other, know each other. Um, I feel like with Ibuka, and Legend, my personal opinion, I feel like with Xavier Legend, Xavier Worthy, Ibuka, It's somebody else I can think of. I think if you get those guys, your number one receiver is probably Tank, and Nico's probably your two, and then those guys that you just bringing in is your third. I think if you draft in Malik Neighbors, Rome, or Keon Coleman, those are your number. Those three guys will be one of those three guys will be your number one. Tank will be your number two, and Nico will be your number three. That's what I'm thinking. So Nico, depending on what happens, depending on what type of move, depending on what type of move the Texans make, Nico will end up being considered your number two receiver or your number three receiver. And the reason why, because he's always going to be behind Tank. I think Tank is going to be, it's going to be, is Tank going to be the number one or is Tank going to be the number two? Because whoever you draft in front is going to be, is going to either be in front of those two or under those two. So it just all depends. But I think that Tank is going to be above Nico in any capacity. So it does depend on who they draft. Are they drafting somebody that they feel like is their number one, or they're going to draft somebody who they feel like is their number three? That's what I feel like. And then again, like who knows, like someone's got to come out there and splash and actually leapfrog Nico. But realistically, probably Keon Coleman, honestly. Because I think Keon's gonna be there. 'Cause I don't know if Rome is gonna be there. I don't know if Rome is gonna fall that far. And I think that once Rome gets off the book, me personally, I think that Nick Casario is gonna jump up in the draft. I think Nick Casario, if this starts to be a run of receivers, he's either gonna jump up in the draft or he's gonna stay packed. And I think if he stays packed, he probably stay packed to get Ibuka. So I think it's gonna be either Keon Coleman or Ibuka, honestly. I think it's gonna be Keon Coleman and Buka or probably yeah, it's gonna be Keon Coleman, Abuka, or possibly maybe AD. But I think AD is like the last option of those three. Do you think Singletary can get 165 yards that he needs to get 1,000? Nah, I don't. I don't think he's going to get everything he needs for 1,000. I think he might get 100 yards. I don't know if he's going to get 165. If Singletary gets 165, that's great. That means he takes to win the game. Like, ain't no way he rushing for 165 yards and Texans lose the game. Like if Singletary has 165 yards to get that 1,000, the Texans have won the game and they go into the playoffs, which obviously is the most important thing. Obviously, the most important thing. That is true. The Miami Dolphins did lose their pass rush. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that. The Dolphins actually did lose their pass rusher. A lot of revenge games. But yeah, I agree. I agree. There is there, there is a lot of there's a lot of there's a lot of potential rematches and potential rematches and the potential what's the word I'm looking for, revenge games. Couldn't get that word out. So there's a lot of potential rematches and rematches and revenge games in the playoffs. That's why it's gonna be very interesting. But I agree, like you said, the Texans have to find a way to make sure that they get into the playoffs. It's not fun. Like they gotta go out there and take care of business. They gotta really go out there and take care of business. You just got to. And I feel like they are. I feel like they are. Part of the reason why I feel like they're gonna go out there and take care of business is because I know y'all seen the disrespect today. So I've been waiting because they normally do it like with a couple weeks late. And like, 'cause remember we've added an NFL season. I mean, we added an NFL game because normally the NFL season will be done right now. Like after week 17 is done. Like the NFL season will be done after week 17. So this normally is already done by now. And normally they name the Pro Bowl like 2 weeks before the season because like people know who going to the Pro Bowl like 2 weeks before the season end. They get like 2 games of being a Pro Bowl, and that's before they added a game. So that means they should have announced the Pro Bowler 2 weeks ago. They should they should have announced the Pro Bowler 2 weeks ago, and they didn't. I don't understand why they didn't, but they just now announced the Pro Bowl, and Larry Tunsil is the Houston Texans only Pro Bowler. Let me say that again. Larry Tunsil, left tackle, Larry Tunsil, is the Houston Texans' only 2023 Pro Bowler. The Pro Bowl alternates: C.J. Stroud, quarterback C.J. Stroud, Darius Stingley Jr., edge rusher Will Anderson, fullback Andrew Beck, wide receiver Nico Collins, edge rusher Jonathan Gennard. Those are the Pro Bowl alternates. Darius Stingley, Will Anderson, Jonathan Gennard are first alternates. C.J. Stroud is a second alternate, which means which means either two of the quarterbacks that's going to the Pro Bowl will have to decline their offer, or one of the quarterbacks have to decline the offer, and then whoever the alternate is has to decline the offer. The AFC Pro Bowl quarterbacks are Tua Tagovailoa, which is cool. Tua is leading the league in passing right now, so that makes sense. It makes sense. He's leading the league in passing right now. That makes sense. I have no qualms about that. Lamar Jackson, who everybody feels like is going to win the MVP. Based off his numbers, normally I wouldn't have looked at it, but because the Ravens are winning so much and he's probably going to win the MVP, it's kind of hard for a guy to win the MVP and not make the Pro Bowl. So, okay, I'm not really going to say nothing about that. The third one, though, is Patrick Mahomes. Now, y'all know me. I'm Texas Tech, Red Raider. Texas Tech guy. I've been talking about Patrick Mahomes since before he started in Kansas City. I remember saying it on the round table. Shout out to everybody on South Sports and everybody on the round table. I remember saying that, and the guys laughed at me before Patrick Mahomes' MVP season, that the Chiefs were going to have the best offense in the AFC because I knew what their kid can do. And not only did they have the best offense in the AFC, they had the best offense in the NFL. Passed through 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns, won the MVP. Lost in the AFC Championship game. Cool. But this ain't that, and that ain't this. Like, Patrick Mahomes strictly got that Pro Bowl nod because of his name. Because he's Patrick Mahomes. It's just like back in the day, like an All-Star game. Like, it was the 2 years that the Yao Ming didn't play basketball, but like all of China was voting for Yao Ming, and Yao Ming still got into the All-Star game. He was still voted to be an All-Star when he didn't even play that season. That's what it's like. That's exactly what it's like. That's exactly what it's like. Like, there's no reason why Patrick Mahomes should be in the Pro Bowl. I'm pretty sure the next alternate is probably Josh Allen. Because again, if it wasn't for Josh Allen's interceptions, I think Josh Allen might lead the league in interceptions. If it wasn't for Josh Allen's interceptions, I don't think Josh Allen should be the leader in the MVP race. Honestly, he's having a better stat season than Lamar Jackson. So we all know, like, that's what the awards are. Then we talk about somebody better than somebody, we can talk about all the other stuff that they bring to the table. But we talk about awards, and we talk about Heisman trophies, and we're talking about MVPs, and we're talking about all pros, and we're talking about rookies of the year, and we're talking about defensive players of the year, and we're talking about all these different type of accolades and stuff like that. Those matter on numbers. Like those completely matter on numbers. We don't care how it's made. We don't care how you made it. We talking about the numbers. We don't care what your team record is. You know they try to make that with the MVP, make it a record award, the best player on the best team. Okay, that's fine. Don't call it MVP, because MVP stands for who's the most valuable. And a lot of times you measure someone's value with wins in numbers. And somebody's having a record-breaking season type situation, you go get, because that's why they're valuable. Because no matter how bad or good their team is, without that player having that type of numbers season that they having, their record wouldn't be what it is. So obviously that makes them valuable. So when we talk about stuff like that, we are based on value. Now, if we're in the barbershop, or we're here in the chat, or just anybody else having a conversation, or who's better than this player, I'll take, who's still my top 5 quarterback, and I'll take this quarterback over this quarterback, or I'll take this running back. Okay, now we ain't talking about numbers. Now we are talking about what what they all bring to the table. When we talk about strictly, especially 1 year in a 1 year span, we're not talking about building a franchise now. We're talking about a 1 year span. A 1 year span. Patrick Mahomes is not deserving of a Pro Bowl. He's not. And I can actually make the case for Lamar Jackson, but he is about to win the MVP, so it kind of hurts a little bit because you do have that chip. But again, from a numbers standpoint, we're looking at the numbers. CJ Stroud deserves to be in the Pro Bowl. And I know some of you say, I don't care about no Pro Bowl. I don't care about no Pro Bowl. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about the Pro Bowl. Just give me the wins. Yeah. And I get you. I understand that because I understand that. I get that. I don't care about no Pro Bowl. I don't care about none of that. And some of y'all might really feel like that, bro. I do. I want my players to get all their awards. I want them to get all their awards. I want them to get all their flowers. I want them to get all their Pro Bowls, all pros and things like that. I know a lot of some of y'all people talking about, but who cares about the Pro Bowl? It's just the Pro Bowl. Nobody really cares about the Pro Bowl. One, we know back in the day, people really did care about the Pro Bowl. And the thing, part of the reason why the Pro Bowl has become so watered down is because of the second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth alternates. That's how you have Mitchell Trubisky as an alternate. Mitchell Trubisky has a Pro Bowl under his belt. I think he's like the fourth alternate. You have, what's his name, Huntley, either last year or the year before last, made the Pro Bowl. Make the Pro Bowl because of so many alternates. That's how the Pro Bowl got watered down. The Pro Bowl got watered down. Pro Bowl got watered down because people stopped going to the Pro Bowl game because what they did to the Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl used to be after the Super Bowl. It used to be a week after the Super Bowl. Now you put it a week before the Super Bowl. And again, if a team is playing in the Super Bowl, they're not going to be. Again, if the team is playing the Super Bowl, team is not going to. The team is not going to The team is not going to that player is not going to play in the Pro Bowl because their team is going. Their team going to the Super Bowl. I got a chance to win a Super Bowl championship. I'm not going to play in no meaningless Pro Bowl. So that's how the Pro Bowl started getting tore up and watered down because they kept trying to do all this extra new, innovative, funky things and trying to do all that. No, keep the Pro Bowl after the season like it was, and you have your stars playing. And again, stop allowing them to opt out. Stop allowing them to opt out. Put that in their contract. And again, no teams and organizations don't want that in their contract because they want to keep them fresh because they don't want them to get hurt. So actually, I see why they don't do that. But again, Pro Bowl just the title itself, just the accolades and the award and the recognition and the honor that it has. I like that part, that standpoint of it. That's why I only care about the people who are voted into the Pro Bowl. I don't care about Lamar Miller being a two-time Pro Bowler in Houston, Texas because he got voted in as an alternate. I don't care about that. I don't care about that because they don't go up there. They don't switch up and be like, oh, he was a three-time Pro Bowler and a one-time alternate. They don't say that. That's not what they say. They just call you a four-time Pro Bowler like Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, I think, has 3 Pro Bowls. 18, 19, and 20. Yeah, he has 3 Pro Bowls. He's taking 3 Pro Bowls for period because he hasn't done anything in Cleveland. He has 3 Pro Bowls. Only 2 of them are legit. His first Pro Bowl in 2017 he was alternate, but nobody talks. 18. Nobody talks about that because we just say he's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He earned it in 2020. He also earned it in 2019. Those he actually voted in as being the actual Pro Bowler. He wasn't in 2018. 2018 he was alternate. He's alternate in 2018. Him and what's his name? Him and Lamar Miller. Him and Lamar Miller both were alternates that year. They both got in based off of alternates. Lamar Miller had got in the year before. Like so, he's a 2-time Pro Bowler. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler alternate. Deshaun Watson is a 3-time Pro Bowler, but honestly, he's really a 2-time Pro Bowler and a 1-time Pro Bowler alternate. But they're not gonna say that he's gonna come a 3-time Pro Bowler. So, and I don't want CJ Stroud's first Pro Bowl to be an alternate Pro Bowl. I want him to actually get in as a Pro Bowler, which he should have got in this year. Him playing the Pro Bowl game and the festivities and all the things they do, I don't really care about that. But the accolades, the Pro Bowl, yes, I want that. That's why this game on Saturday I'm so happy it's a Monday night game. I mean, it's a was a Monday night football crew, but it's a prime time game because it's going to allow it's going to get people that stage. That's part of the problem. That's why he wasn't. That's the reason why he ended up being. So if he's the second Pro Bowl alternate, that means he was the fourth. He was the fifth on the list of quarterbacks because you get three quarterbacks. So for him to be the second alternate, it means somebody's in front of him. So it means there's four quarterbacks in front of him, and to me that makes him five. That makes him fifth as a quarterback voter. As voting for the quarterbacks, he's fifth. And a lot of that has to go to people not watching. Why is he behind Patrick Mahomes? Because we people have watched Patrick Mahomes. The thing is, people know Patrick Mahomes. People don't really know C.J. Stroud. Not getting in the grand saying people know who C.J. Stroud is, but you know what I mean. They don't know him like that because they don't watch the Texans play for the most part. Since they don't have any national televised games, the Texans don't have any big national moments and things like that. They don't have any of these things. They're going to get it now, and because of that, I do think that that's going to help his case with Rookie of the Year, which he should have already had locked up. But again, he hasn't had any primetime games going to this point. So the fact that he's been robbed of the Pro Bowl, because at one point in time, he was second in Pro Bowl behind two. Now, I know he missed two games, and that hurt a lot. That did. I do think if he would have played those two games, if he wouldn't have got hurt, and this obviously how I felt he would have played, I think he probably still would have possibly got to the Pro Bowl. I think he still possibly would have gotten to the Pro Bowl, but yeah, they made him a Pro Bowl alternate 2 times. So again, that's why this primetime game is very, very, in my opinion, very, very crucial and very, very important from a national standpoint. Because probably ain't gonna be no All Pros or anything like that on the team. Maybe Larry Tunsil, he ended up getting a Pro Bowl, but again, I do think it's a little bit easier to get Pro Bowl than it is to get All Pro. I don't know if Larry Tunsil will be All Pro, but we'll talk about it whenever that happens. They normally name that after the season. They don't name the rookies and the defensive rookie of the years and things like that, the MVPs and all the other type of awards. They don't normally name that till right before the Super Bowl. And that's nothing, just like because they have their award ceremony was the night before the Super Bowl. So again, players don't show up to that either. Players don't show up there either. Players show up to the players don't show up to that because they too busy getting ready for the Super Bowl. They're too busy get play. They're too busy getting ready for the Super Bowl. So since they're too busy getting ready for the Super Bowl, they ain't got no time to show up for the award ceremony. But I know like because of the Bengals, the Joe Burrow won comeback player of the year, and Jamar Chase won rookie of the year. They just got the awards at their little team banquet or whatever because they wasn't gonna go to the award ceremony because they for the Super Bowl. What's up, Professor? What's up, Professor? No, I can't call you the other word because you haven't displayed any realness or trillness, so I just call you Professor. I ain't gonna say your real name. They gonna be like they gonna do you dirty like that. But what's up, Professor? What's good with you? Yeah, I'm not disrespectful. Again, I agree with Mahomes. No, Tua leads the league in passing. I definitely see why Tua is a Pro Bowl. I definitely see that. Uh, but the AFC is wide open, bro. I can see. As I'm looking at it, as I'm looking at it, of all the potential 9 teams that could be in the playoffs, like the teams they've already in Baltimore, Kansas City, and the Browns. They've already Baltimore, Miami, Kansas City, and the Browns. They've already clinched. Jacksonville, Buffalo, Indy, Houston, Pittsburgh, all the teams that potentially can make it, and two of them are not. Two of those teams are not going to make it. And all those teams, I could see. I could see between 5 and 6 making it all the way. The only teams I really don't see really uh is Jacksonville, Indy, and Pittsburgh. I don't see Jacksonville, Indy, and Pittsburgh making it. I don't see them. I don't really see really them teams in the I don't really, in the playoffs making real legitimate runs or pushes like making them to like um, AFC championship games or beyond or Super Bowls or anything like that. I can see. I mean, Baltimore, as it stands right now, the best team in the AFC. I definitely see they got all the games at home. Buffalo, I think, is the hottest team in football, and they continue to stay high. I think they can make it. I think that Kansas City, you can never really count out Patrick Mahomes, even though I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to lose his first playoff game. Would it surprise me or shock me if the Chiefs made it to the AFC Championship game and made it to another Super Bowl? No, it wouldn't, because it's Patrick Mahomes. It wouldn't surprise me. Like I said, Miami, they got a lot of speed, and I do believe with all that speed that they have, that they can make some type of runs and make some type of plays. And then us, because we had CJ Stroud. Feel like we had the third best quarterback in this. Nah, fourth. And then going to the run, we got the fourth best quarterback in the. You got Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, and Josh Allen. So I think you got a top five quarterback in the situation, which means you should be able to win three of your four. You can be able to win three or four. You be able to win 3 or 4 games, 2 or 3 games, and then get to the AFC Championship game, and then possibly be able to go on and advance. Cleveland is the kicker because Cleveland has a tough defense, but Joe Flacco, even though I know playoff Joe Flacco is playoff Joe Flacco, and also Joe Flacco's been balling the past couple weeks. I don't know because he keeps turning the football over, and I can definitely see Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns falling. I don't know. I mean, but again, Joe Flacco can get it done in the playoffs, and they have a legitimate defense, so I put them in there too. So to answer your question, I think really the AFC itself is completely wide open because the AFC itself is completely wide open. I do believe that the Houston Texans possibly and potentially because of that, I think that they can potentially make it all the way to an AFC Championship game. I think they possibly can. I think they possibly and potentially can make it all the way to an AFC Championship game. If they make it all the way up into an AFC Championship game, I do think that they do that. I do think like that's how far I feel like they can get. And I do think they can make it past that as well. They can make it to the bid because the AFC this year I feel like is completely wide open. I know a lot of people don't want to say that or don't. The AFC really is this really no real strong AFC juggernaut. I know what Baltimore has done, but the Texans went up to Baltimore. I know it was early in the season, and even though they lost, but they had a competitive game, and I feel like the Texans are a better team. I know Baltimore Ravens is obviously a better team too. That's why I do think that the matchup could be very similar, but on this time the Texans being on the right side of it. I do. So we think about it. Man, what you telling, bro? Bro, I'm so excited. I wake up every day. I wake up every day like, man, is it Friday yet? Is it Saturday yet? Is it Saturday? Like, I feel like the game's tomorrow. Like I said it yesterday, and I said it again today. I wake up feeling like the game is tomorrow. Like I cannot wait to this game, bro. I cannot wait to this game because like, I feel like the Texas on the brink of doing something special. I feel like the Texans on the brink of doing something special. And the thing is, it is infancy. It's in the beginning. It's in the very beginning stages of it, and I can see it. I can see it right now, growing and glowing. I can see it right now, growing and glowing about the Houston Texans finally potentially doing something extremely well. So I can't wait. I can't wait. I extremely can't wait. Corpus Christi in the building. What's up, Corpus? Who is? Oh, wait, 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 wait. Time out. What are you talking about? The only receiver that has a first round grade is Marvin Harrison. Ron Coleman, the rest of them be in the later rounds. That's not true at all. Them guys not making it past 15, bro. You talking about? Like, what you talking about, bro? That's not true at all. That's not true at all, bro. It's like 7 receivers with first round grades. I agree. What do you think? Yeah, oh, that's another thing too. Yes, adding Dalvin Cook, especially for a playoff push, especially for a playoff push and a playoff run. Absolutely, I do agree with that. I agree that you need to add in another. You agree? Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That you do need to add a receiver. You definitely need to add a receiver. I mean, add a run back like Dalvin Cook into the fold, into the mix. He knows the system. He knows the system. He ran it with the Minnesota Vikings. He ran it in the he ran with the Minnesota Vikings. I definitely believe that you should add him to the mix. I definitely believe that. Well, I never said a book. I don't know if a book is going in the first round. Kabuka go if he does, he'll go in the late first round, late first, early second, somewhere around that. I was just saying I was just bringing up Mabuka because of Nick Casario, not Nick Casario, because CJ familiarity with him that being one of his receivers. I can see it also depends on the board. If receivers are flying off the board, like how the receivers were flying off the board. What draft was that? Not last year, the year before last. Because again, I think that's why I think that Nick Casario is actually going to move up to get a receiver. Every receiver that Nick Casario has drafted, from Nico Collins to John Mechie, Tank Dell, and Xavier Howard. All four of those receivers that Nick Casario has drafted since he's been in Houston, Texas, you know what they all got into common? Well, no, one thing they got to come outside being a receiver. One thing that they all have in common about being a receiver, and then Nick Casario drafted him, and then Nick Casario jumped up to get him. He jumped up from one round to the next round to get him. He jumped up. He jumped up from the third round to the second round to get Mechie. He jumped up from the fourth round to the third round to get Nico Collins. He jumped up from the fourth round to the third round to get Tank Dell. He jumped up from the I think with Hudson he jumped up from a later pick in that same round to get Xavier Hudson. All four receivers he jumped up to go get. So I wouldn't be surprised if he jumped up to go get if the receivers start falling the board. I feel like that's what happened to him in last year's draft. We were sitting there at pick with 12 or 13. I can't remember exactly which one it was. We were sitting right there at 12 or 13, and you had Drake London coming off the board. You had Jameson Williams coming off the board. You had Gary Wilson coming off the board. And then you had finally Chris Olave pick 12 because we was pick 13. Chris Olave went the pick right before you to the New Orleans Saints. And what we do when we got our pick? We could have drafted Kyle Hampton, but we jumped back and got added more draft capital and drafted Kenyon Green. And that's what made me see exactly what Kenyon Green does. We haven't really seen a lot of them. We haven't seen none of them this year. But I'm saying I feel like he was going to get a receiver because his next two picks was a safety and receiver. The very next two picks was safety and receiver. I feel like if Xavier, but if Chris Olave and somebody would have failed to him at that pick, he would have took them there. He would have took Chris Olave there. He would have took Gary Wilson or Drake London. He would have took one of those guys there at that 12th or 13th pick. He would have took them there. But because they all fell off the board and there was a run, he wasn't given the opportunity to do it. Now I feel like he's not gonna let that happen again. If Marcus took it off the board, then Malik Davis gonna take it off the board, and then Keon Coleman or Ron, one of those two get took it off the board early on, he's going to move up. He's going to move up from whatever pick he is to another pick. Now, when he gives up, I have no idea what the compensation is going to be. But I feel like he's going to give something up and move up to get a receiver. Or, 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 or he can sit back and wait and watch and just draft a Buka later on in the draft because he has a Buka in his back pocket. So I can see what they're doing, and they still okay. Okay, they drafted a whole bunch of receivers, but luckily I still got Ibuka in my pocket. So I do think that Ibuka could go in the late first, early second. Uh, but the thing about Xavier Worthy, I've seen plenty of my drafts with Xavier Worthy going in the first round. Now the same thing with AD Mitchell. I haven't really seen too many. I think I see like maybe one with AD Mitchell going in the first round, but for the most part, AD Mitchell don't be going in the first round either. How you feel about adding Mike Evans? I mean, cool. I have no problem adding Mike Evans. This is the thing. People say all the time, let's get Mike Evans, and he probably take a hometown discount because I know he's from Galveston. I don't think Mike Evans. I don't think Mike Evans is going to get a hometown discount. I don't think he's going to take one. Mike Evans, you're going to have to pay Mike Evans. You're going to pay Mike Evans. You're going to pay him. Reason why, this is going to be his last time he get a big payday, and 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 there's a team out there with a certain QB that desperately needs a receiver in the worst way. That's Kansas City. He'll go to Kansas City because Kansas City's gonna pay because they're gonna pay. Kansas City's gonna pay because they desperately need a receiver. They'll go out there and pay. They ain't got time to be waiting on the number one receiver in the draft. They got time to wait on that because they drafted Scott Moore. They drafted Scott Moore. I think they drafted somebody else too. They drafted with Rice. They drafted two receivers already, and they haven't got the production that they needed out of Rice or Scott Moore. Mike Evans is a guy who's every year in the league has gotten 1,000 yards. Every single year in the league, he's got 1,000 yards. That's the guy we can add to the fold. That's the guy who we can add to the mix. We can add him and put him in the mix because he go out there, he gets 1,000 yards every season. Mike Evans, what you want? We'll pay him, and Mike Evans gonna go because they're gonna pay him, and he has a chance, an opportunity to win championships because he's playing with Patrick Mahomes. I understand he's from Galveston. Understand what Texas A&M play with giant football. Understand that, and that's great. Yeah, Texas kid, understand it. That's good. That's great. That does not mean he's going to take less money when another team is offering more money just to go home. He ain't gonna do that. He's not gonna do it. He's not gonna take. Oh, they offering me a $5 million a year. I go home, but them over there they offer me $7 million a year. I'm going to $7 million a year. Same thing with AJ Bouye. AJ Bouye left the Houston Texans over $1 million. Texas, I think, offered him like $9 million. Jacksonville offered him 10. They offered him $10 million. They gave him 10 a year, and the Texans were gonna give him $9 million a year. He went to $10 million. The rest, a whole $1 million. Yes, I'm taking that. I don't care that he didn't care that the fact that the Texans was on the trajectory of going to the playoffs, and Jacksonville was on the trajectory that they was going on. And again, it worked out for them. He went there. They already had Jalen Ramsey. And came with that they were called Saxonville. They won their very first divisional. Yeah, they won their very first divisional title. Made all the way to the NFC Championship game. He had fun, and after that, it became the same old with the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I'm saying all that is that like you don't have to take a hometown discount. They more than go out there and try to get their money. They ain't worried about no discount. They don't worry about trying to get no hometown discount. They worry about trying to get show me the money. That's what they want the money. They want the money. They want the money. They want that. They want the moolah. They want that. They want the cash. So he's not gonna take that. He's not gonna take no friendly deal, no a hometown discount, no you on the way to which. He's not taking none of that. That's not what he's gonna do. He gonna get his money. He gonna get his bag. Yeah, I agree. I've been saying that. I've been saying that like that we're gonna have at least 4 primetime games next year. I mean 3. We're gonna at least have 3 primetime games next year. We have a Monday night football game, a Sunday night football game, and a Thursday night football game, guaranteed. I feel like Total, we'll probably end up getting like 4 or 5 because I think they're gonna try to double dip on that Sunday night. Probably try to double dip on that Monday night. So I think you're gonna get 2 Sunday nights, 2 Monday nights, and 1 Thursday night game. So that gives you 5 primetime games. That's what I feel like they're gonna do. But who knows exactly what they'll do? But I feel like they'll find a way to do that. I think that's what they'll find out a way to do because they look at what's going on and they're like, okay, hey, yeah, we can rock with it. We can rock with it. We can put that on TV. We can put that on TV, especially again like about this whole Pro Bowl situation. Boy, y'all ain't did nothing but wake CJ Stroud up. Boy, CJ about to go out there and throw 4 or 5 touchdowns and 500 yards against y'all. That's what he gonna do. I'm the second alternate on the Pro Bowl. I'm not even the first alternate. I'm the second alternate on the Pro Bowl. Bet. 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 Watch this. Watch this. Lasers. Sniping. Boy, be out there sniping like he playing Call of Duty. Boy, about to be out there sniping like he playing Call of Duty. I can't wait to see it. It's gonna be showcased for everybody to see on Monday Night Football. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. He gonna play with it, all right. He gonna play. That's what Tank said. Tank said, "Man, I can't believe they play with him." Yeah, he can play with it, all right. Yeah, he didn't play with it. He didn't play with it right. He about to be out there. All night long. All night long. Yeah. All night long tonight, yeah. All night long tonight, yeah. All night. Boy, he gonna be out there sniping. Like he playing Call of Duty. Like he playing Call of Duty. He gonna be playing Call of Duty out there. For real. He gonna be he gonna be out there sniping. He gonna be out there sniping. He gonna be out there sniping. And I can't wait to see it. Boy, I can't wait to see it, bro. Throwing nothing but bombs, absolutely. Throwing nothing but bombs. He gonna be little dump off passes, little shuffle passes, you know what I'm saying? Little drop back, right there down the seed, right there down the middle. Okay, we hit that big play. Let me joke out a little bit. Let me run to the sideline. Boop, dropping the bucket. Touchdown. Yeah, that's what you gonna get. That's what you gonna get. You gonna get that. You gonna get that. He gonna be out there sniping. He gonna be, boy. He gonna be out there sniping, man. He gonna be out there. Can't wait. Because now it's time. It's completely it. It's time. It's time to put everything on the line. You don't have no choice. And you have absolutely no choice. Everything has to be on the line on Saturday. On Saturday. For one more time for people who missed it earlier. As it stands right now, this is how the playoffs looking. You got the Baltimore Ravens as the number 1 seed, number 1 locked up, 13-3, number 1 locked up. The Miami Dolphins got a playoff spot, but don't have their division locked up. They had the 2nd seed at 11-5. The Kansas City Chiefs are the 3rd seed. They have their playoff spot and division locked up at the 3rd seed at 10-6. The Jacksonville Jaguars are the final team, the final division winner, but they haven't had it locked up yet. They sit in the 4th spot at 9-7. They haven't had any playoff spot locked up yet. The Cleveland Browns have locked up the playoff spot. They are the only wildcard team that's locked up a spot. They sit at the 5 seed at 11-5 record. My bad, I forgot to say Jacksonville was 9-7. You have the Buffalo Bills at the 6th spot at a 10-6 record. They end up as a 7th spot at a 9-7 record. And then you have the Houston Texans and Pittsburgh Steelers on the outside looking in at 9-7. And again, the Texans, they win. They hit the Texans and the Colts, they win in. So win their games is going to go to the playoffs. Buffalo prefers to win, and then I think they need somebody else to lose, and then they're good. And also they can also find a way to make it in with a loss too. So it's just a lot of different wins, but a lot of different ways. Mostly they need Jacksonville to lose the division also, because that helps them as well. So It helps them as well. And as the playoff situation, the playoffs potential matchups could go. If the Texans win against the Indianapolis Colts, they're in the playoffs. If the Jacksonville lose and the Texans win, the Texans win the division and they host. They'll be the 4th seed and they'll be hosting a playoff game against the 5th seed Cleveland Browns. If the Houston Texans win the game against the Indianapolis Colts, but the Jacksonville Jaguars also win their game, and therefore the Jacksonville Jaguars win the division, the Texans are a wild card team, and Miami beats the Buffalo Bills on Sunday night, the Texans will be the 6th seed. It will go to Kansas City to play the 3rd seed. Now, if the Texans win the game against the Indianapolis Colts, but the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Tennessee Titans and hold on to the division, the Houston Texans are now finishing the Houston Texans are now 7th seed, and the Miami Dolphins lose to the Buffalo Bills, and the Buffalo Bills beat the Miami Dolphins. The Buffalo Bills will be the 2nd seed, and the Houston Texans will go to Buffalo in the playoffs. Now, the Houston Texans beat the Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Tennessee Titans, and the Texans on the wild card, and the Jacksonville Jaguars will win the division, and the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills game is a tie. The Houston Texans will go to Miami to face the Miami Dolphins. Houston Texans ranked number 7 seed, and the Miami Dolphins are number 2 seed. So that's how the seeding and potential matchups can work. Like I've been saying before, my potential matchup, my favorite one is Houston Texans versus the Cleveland Browns because they host a division. That's the one thing I want to do. I want to host a division. I want to have the most chances and opportunities that I possibly can to win the division. That's what I want. I want the most chances, the most opportunities to not only win the division, but also host a playoff game. And if you have the 4th seed, you have plenty of opportunities and plenty of chances and plenty of ways to not only host the first playoff game that you're guaranteed, but it depends on what happened with 7 versus 2 and also 6 versus 3. You could potentially be hosting whoever your opponent is. You could be sitting there hosting your opponent if things break out. Right. And if another upset occurs and occurs in the divisional round, you could be also hosting the AFC Championship game as well. So it's a lot of different ways and avenues and different situations, a lot of different ways for Houston Texans to not only get into the playoffs and host a playoff game, but host majority playoff games and also have the road to get to Super Bowl actually absolutely runs through NRG Stadium. Then you have to come to Houston to go there. So that's what's looking like, and that's what I want. And I feel like because of CJ Stroud getting snubbed for the whole Pro Bowl situation, he gonna go out there and act crazy. He gonna go out there and just go out there and just play football at a high extreme level and find a way to put them back into their place. I wouldn't want to go against the Browns. Why? Why are you scared against the Browns? Why are you worried against the Browns? I definitely want like it's not even the Browns. It's really more so the division. Honestly, it's more so the division. But again, when it comes to the Browns, the Houston Texans can definitely play against the Browns. Like I think even though they lost, I think they proved it. I proven that's a proved it. I think they proven that. Yeah, the Browns do got solid defense, but I do think the Texans actually proved the fact that they can actually keep up with them if they actually played better. The Houston Texans played better. The Houston Texans probably kept up with them. So I know Mark Cooper went on, but if they would have played better, they could have had opportunity, especially having an actual quarterback. I definitely think that it would look a little bit different. I think it looked a little bit different. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, Mark Cooper did go off. Well, I see a lot of people saying they want Chiefs because they want revenge on that 24-0 debacle. Uh, I mean, technically, the Titans did get their revenge on the Music City Miracle against the Buffalo Bills, even though that was the Oilers and the Titans, but it was a lot of players that was on that coach, a lot of players on the coaching staff was on the Oilers team as players back in that Buffalo loss. That was on the coaching staff when the Texans beat the Bills in that was it Music City Miracle play. Yeah, I don't see the hot, but Amari Cooper going on like that. Yeah, I don't see it happening either. I don't see it happening either. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Sound Mike Evans draft. I mean, that could be a good avenue. Honestly. Mm, I think it could be. What's good with you? What's good with you, bro? What's good with you? What's good with you? But yeah, so tequila shots with lime and salt water. It would, huh? Tequila shot. It's not cold silences, but yeah, it is what it is though. Like this week here, yeah, this is it. Like this week here is it. We've been asking for. We've been asking for. We've been waiting for. We've been wanting. We've been needing all year long. Prime time game, a prime time stage, which the Texans have, and also opportunity to get to the playoffs. Like this is a great situation. Honestly, sounds like a great situation. Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, AFC South, last game of the season. Winner goes to the playoffs. I would have loved for it to be for the division. And again, it actually could end up being for the division. The thing is, the Texans and the Colts don't know it. Like they won't know this for the division into the Jags game. That's why it would have been way better if the Jags would have lost to the Carolina Panthers. If the Jags would have lost to the Carolina Panthers, this game would completely be for the game. It'd be completely for the division the division completely. It would be completely better for the division. So this game needed to be. I mean, the Carolina Panthers game should have been the win against Jacksonville, but I mean, you asked Bryce Young to do something and wasn't able to get none. Like wasn't able to get none. Like wasn't able to get that win. We need them to go get that win. They wasn't able to go get that win. We need them to go out there and get that win. They wasn't able to go get that win. So we needed it, and we wasn't able to go get it. We needed them, and they wasn't able to go get it. I don't. We needed them to get that win. They wasn't able to do it. So, but what it is. But still, to the point where the Texans and the Indianapolis Colts are battling for a playoff spot. We would love for it to be a battle for the division, but like I said, Carolina couldn't take care of business. We actually didn't even show up. Forget take care of business. They didn't even show up. Wasn't able to show up. But now we have an actual game going for the playoffs. Primetime game. Two teams that didn't even get primetime game on the actual schedule. When the schedule came out back in May, wasn't able to give them the game. They did want to give them a primetime game. Now they've given us a primetime game because they were forced to. They had to give us a primetime game. They were forced to give us a primetime game. They had to give us a primetime game. And so you gotta go out there and get it. Gotta go out there and get it. Gotta go out there and show up. All the cards on the table. Bobby Slowick, all the cards on the table. I need Bobby Slowick to be in his bag. I need Bobby Slowick to go out there and pull out of his bag. I need Bobby Slowick to go out there and showcase and do what he needs to do. I need him to put CJ in the best position he possibly can. Put him in the best position that he possibly can. So we can go out there and get to the playoffs. We need to go out there and get to the playoffs. So I need him to put himself in the best possible position that he possibly can, man. So, and like I said, the Texans got to win to get in. And again, there's other things that you need to happen for you to win the division. You only need one thing to get to the playoffs, and that's win. You win, and you're at the very least the seventh seed. Depending on other things going around, you can end up being the sixth or the fourth seed. And like I said, your potential matchups is hosting Cleveland, at Kansas City, at Buffalo. The least likely is at Miami because you would need the Buffalo in the Buffalo Bills game in the tie. So after the Texans game on Saturday, the game everybody's gonna be watching the Jacksonville Jaguar game. because that's Jacksonville Jaguar game. Because if Jacksonville Jaguars lose, boom, you hosting the game against the Cleveland Browns. Jacksonville Jaguars win. Now we forced to watch Miami and the Bills because either Miami win, you go into Kansas City, Buffalo win, you go into Buffalo, and tie, you go into Miami. Those would be the situations. Those are the ways. Those are the opponents. You could be hosting Cleveland, at Kansas City, at Buffalo, at Miami. Again, my preference is hosting game against Cleveland. Second is at Kansas City. Third is at Miami. Last is at Buffalo. That's my last. That's what I want the least is at Buffalo. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is true. If the Texans, I mean, I mean, I guess you blaming Bobby Slowick, especially on the Panthers game. The Falcons game, I feel more so was on, nah, huh. I was about to say I was about to say the Falcons game was on the defense, but the defense did get you two turnovers early on in that game. You weren't able to capitalize on them until late because CJ threw the touchdown to which God did. They should have won the game. Like CJ had the game winning drive against the Falcons. The Texans just ain't defense. They hold up. Uh, the Panthers game was just a bad game. The Panthers game itself, the Panthers game itself was a bad game. Uh, I'm mostly like I say, me personally, because you still you probably you have a playoff spot clinched. If you get one of those wins, you have a playoff spot clinched, but you still need to win the division. I think you still need a win to win the division, even with one of those wins. Like I said, the thing that's the most the game that puts you in this mess with the division is the Jazz game. If you would have beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, if Amendola's kick would have been good, or not even that, we didn't gonna get to Amendola's kick to even be good because again, I'm not even faulting for that kick that we only win overtime. It was about what happened against it's about what happened on that Tank Dell catch. If the refs call that a catch like it's supposed to, what they extend their drive, the Texans might score a touchdown on their drive. But even still, the Texans at the very least, Amendola has a better field goal attempt because that's the field goal I was most upset about Amendola was because after they called that Tank Dell catch on the sideline, not a catch, we kicked the field goal and Amendola missed it. If that kick is a good kick, or the Texans score a touchdown, more likely we just say if that kick is a good kick. Now that last play, we're driving to try to win that game if that go into overtime. And I feel like if we went into overtime, then we was cooking, and that they couldn't really stop C. Stroud, even though the offensive line was allowing C. Stroud to get sacked. I do think the Texans would have gotten overtime and won that game. And if they would have won that game, if they would have won that game in overtime, the Texans would be sitting here right now at Texans would be sitting here right now at 10-6, while the Jacksonville Jaguars would be 8-8. Jazz would be 8-8 right now. The Jazz would be 8-8. I'd probably be eliminated from the playoffs. The Jazz would be 8-8, eliminated from the playoffs, and the Texans would be the 4 seed as it stands right now, potentially with a chance and opportunity to beat the 3 seed. Actually, with a chance and opportunity to be the 2 seed. They would be the 4 seed right now, and they will have a chance and opportunity because they'll be, like I said, they'll be 10-6. Them being 10-6, they will have a tiebreaker. They will have a better conference record than Buffalo, and if Miami will lose, yeah, I mean Kansas City will lose. They have a better conference record than them too. So they potentially could have been the number 2 seed. So again, that's how crucial that like if nothing else, if everything stays the same, you still lose to Bryce Young and Carolina, you still lose to the Falcons, you still even lose to the Jets on at MetLife. If the Houston Texans would have beaten the Jacksonville Jaguars on Chris on weekend on Thanksgiving weekend, the weekend of Thanksgiving, if they would have beat them and they got and then we'll get the Battle Red game, if the Houston Texans would have beat Jacksonville, the Texans would be guaranteed. The Texans will already have clinched a playoff spot, guaranteed. A playoff spot would have already been clinched. The Texans would have been sitting at the 4th seed comfortably with a playoff spot already clinched, and the Texans could either be 4, 3, or 2, potentially 4, 3, or 2, with nothing else happening around them. They will they would win the division just flat out right and be the 4th seed by winning. And then if Miami, not Miami, but yeah, Miami or KC loses, they could be the number 2 seed. That's what could happen. That's something that people don't talk about. That's something that people don't talk about. That how important that Jazz game was. Like that Jazz game changed a lot. That actually put the Texans in a situation. So I know a lot of people always want to point to the Panthers game and point to the Falcons game, and I get it, understand it. But really, it was that Jags game. If you the reason why it's that Jazz game because that Jag game hurts the Jacksonville Jaguars because that puts Jacksonville from being 9-7 to 8-8 right now. They eliminates the Jags. The Jags who are hosting the division right now, who you need to lose on Sunday to win the division, that takes them out of it. It takes them out of the playoffs completely because you swept them. Not only do they have a worse record, you swept them. They cannot leapfrog you because you swept them, and they have a worse record than you. And they have a worse record than you. That's very crucial and very vital in this situation. That's the so that's really the bag that we dropped. Honestly, that's really the real bag that we dropped was losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars after Thanksgiving. It really what it is. That's really the bag that we really dropped. Honestly. So it is what it is though. Um, Hey, if we do host the playoffs, I do want to plug them Deep Steel Blues. You already know. That's why I said that's my favorite uniform combination for the Texans. Is the Deep Steel Blue jerseys and the Deep Steel Blue pants. It's my favorite uniform combination. So I would love for that to be the case. That's what I did. I definitely would love that. I would prefer that if the Houston Texans brought that out. That'd be lovely. That's lovely if the Houston Texans brought that out. Absolutely. I love that. I would love that. I would love that. I would love for the Houston Texans to bring that out. That's crazy. That's especially since we were wearing this shit. I was upset that we didn't wear it because I thought that the last game of the season, we would have got a chance to wear it. And, we did. So I thought we would have got a chance to wear it, but we didn't. Hey, I mean, especially with me being in the building, I was like, dang, man, I hope we will win these Steel Blues. That's my favorite combination. We didn't get a chance to wear it. Man, shout out to everybody that was out there because Soft Sports, we was in the building. We was up in there. We was in there. And shout out to everybody that was out there. I know CJ said like that. He felt like that was like the loudest stadium been. And it was good. It was a good atmosphere. Halftime show was live. I'm saying you had Zero, you had Bumby. I mean not Bumby. You had Zero, you had Kiki, you had slipped up. No, yeah, slipped up either. It was Zero, Kiki, Flip, and Mike Jones. Mike Jones, you got Mike Jones out of nowhere. Ain't nobody seen Mike Jones. And yeah, the dude on the side, he said, no way. That's Mike Jones? No. like, no way. Like, he was like he couldn't believe Mike Jones there because Mike Jones don't look nothing like Mike Jones. But But yeah, but yeah, it was crazy. It was live. Uh, CJ, bro, you owe me a Super Bowl because hollering and screaming and jumping up and down watching you play football and watching the game. I lost my wallet. I lost my wallet in OG Stadium. And shout out to whoever was the person that found my wallet and turned it in. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Thank you for so if it was you, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. God jumped up and lost my wallet. And I had to go back to the stadium, and luckily they had put it to lost the found. So appreciate that. Thank you to and thank you to those who turned it in. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So because of that, young CJ Stroud, you owe me a Super Bowl. You owe me a Super Bowl championship. Yes, you do. You do. Yes, young CJ Stroud, you owe me a Super Bowl championship. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Who's the biggest Pro Bowl snub? CJ Stroud. I'm not. I'm really not surprised that Stingley didn't make it, even though he made a great late effort push. Like, great. He's made one of the greatest late effort pushes that I've ever seen by a player. Like, he's made, like, one of the greatest like, I've seen some great pushes before. Uh, but I was upset with Chad Bailey for a long time when Dante Robinson did get in his rookie year. With Dante Robinson, I think was like second. He led the AFC. He led the AFC in interceptions. It was like he was he was third in the NFL and led the AFC. He led the AFC in interceptions. He was third in the NFL and his rookie year. And Chad Bailey had made it, and I was upset. Um, I don't know why I singled out Chad Bailey, but I know I was upset at Chad Bailey for a long time, and it wasn't until the Broncos had beat the Patriots like in the playoff game, and Chad Bailey Chad Bailey had ran back a pick six. That's when I actually forgave Chad Bailey. Because he caught the pick and he was running, and I said if you make this, if you score, I ain't gonna talk about you ever again. like, as Shea Bailey was running, so uh, that's when I finally forgave Shea Bailey. Not like it was his fault, but that I knew Sting. Yeah, Stingley is the alternate. I knew Darius Stingley wasn't gonna make it, but he did make a great late season push. It just I think it was just a little bit too little, too late. He missed half the season, and he made a great push in that last couple of weeks of the season. But I had a feeling he wasn't gonna make it. Like I said, for y'all who missed it, CJ's a Pro Bowl alternate, Stevens a Pro Bowl alternate, Will Anderson's a Pro Bowl alternate. Beck is a Pro Bowl alternate. Nico's a Pro Bowl alternate. And Jonathan Gennard is a Pro Bowl alternate. The only Pro Bowler that we have is Larry Tunsil. So, yeah. Early this season, CJ said he was going to be I have trusted him already. It's okay. Stay flying the Raiders. So it is what it is. Like yeah, I mean, again, I want my guys to get their accolades. I want them to get their awards. I want them to get their flowers. I want them to get their recognition. But the Sauce and Willie hype man kind of quiet since Sting came back. Yeah, Sauce made the Pro Bowl again though. Sauce a two-time Pro Bowler now. I don't think Cashman made either. Yes, over Pat. Yeah, Pat doesn't deserve to make it. Pat doesn't deserve to be the Pro Bowl. I agree. I don't think Pat Mahomes deserves to be the Pro Bowl. CJ 4,000 yards. I think he's like around 200 yards away. So I do think he's gonna get. And that's really like I want him to obviously to get Rookie of the Year. Yeah, I want him to get to the Pro Bowl. I do think that I do. I do think he's gonna get to, I do think he's gonna get to 4,000. I think we got 21 touchdowns, so he would need 4 touchdowns to have 25 touchdowns a season. So, and I think he's gonna come out that balling uh because he did make the Pro Bowl. So if he is a season with over 4,000 yards and 25 touchdowns, I think he's had a great rookie season, especially missing 2 games. And we could be sitting there like, yeah, if he would play the 2 games that he missed, we talk about God. We talk about God. It's like 4,800 yards and 30 touchdowns. So yeah. So hopefully that's what happens. So hopefully he gets to 4,000 yards, and also hope he gets to 25 touchdowns too. Hopefully, hopefully that be the case. So, um, see, what's up, Chris? What's up, Kevo? Uh, I get where you coming from. But I just like the accolade standpoint. I mean, I don't care about the actual Pro Bowl game because, like I said earlier, the NFL themselves has ruined it by one putting the game in front of the Super Bowls, then putting it after Super Bowl like it used to be, and nobody wants to play. So now he is an alternate, and that's how you get like Mitchell Trubisky and who else? I think Matt Jones. And that's how you get like these weird quarterbacks to be alternates. But I do actually care about the accolade, like the people who get voted to be the Pro Bowl. Like it's something about being a 12-time Pro Bowl. Like those numbers matter when people are up for the Hall of Fame. Like when people are up for Hall of Fames, and when we talk about greatest efforts and stuff like that, they talk about people's awards. They talk about people Pro Bowls. They talk about how many times you led the league and whatever, led the league in receiving and passing and touchdowns. However, they talk about those type of things. They talk about now Super Bowl is the only thing they talk about with quarterbacks because they're not gonna hold they're gonna hold a running back or a receiver or a DN or offensive lineman accountable for their team winning or not winning the Super Bowl. They're not gonna say, "Oh, you won 5 Super Bowls," or anything like that, or you ain't win those Super Bowls. We can't put you in the Hall of Fame. You ain't win those Super Bowls, but they can and will do that when it comes to quarterbacks. But in that same standpoint, if you talk about Eli Manning, and a lot of people don't feel like Eli Manning don't feel like Eli Manning is a Hall of Fame quarterback. Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowls and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. No league MVPs, but 2 Super Bowl trophies, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. But if you ask like about like Ben Roethlisberger, I'm not Ben Roethlisberger, but if you ask about like Matt Ryan, if you ask about some of these other quarterbacks, they'll tell you, "Oh yeah, they're Hall of Famer." Why? Did they win the Super Bowls? They win Super Bowl MVPs. But we talk about numbers and we talk about, and I'm not even trying to argue that, but what I'm saying is that's why that stuff matters. And again, I know it's early on. We're talking about the first 17 games of CJ Stroud's career, so he has a long way to go before we could be talking about Hall of Fame and stuff like that. But for him to get that stuff is rookie, because like I said, now Sauce Gardner is going to be able to say that he's a 2-time Pro Bowler. I don't care what anybody says about how bad of a season he had. Sauce Gardner could legitimately come. Sauce Gardner walks up and says he's defensive rookie of the year, two-time Pro Bowler, first team All Pro, and you can't dispute that. You can say, "Oh, you don't deserve it." Okay, when people say deserve, But what's on this paper? When you go on Wikipedia on my name, what does it say right there? When they go up in the Hall of Fame type of situations, they not gonna sit up there and say, well, in 2023, you made the Pro, but we don't think you deserve. They ain't gonna sit there and say he's blank about Pro Bowler. He's a Rookie of the Year. He's gonna be blank about All Pros. So that's what they're going to say. That's exactly what they're gonna say. So that nobody cares. I mean, yeah, I understand what you said. Nobody cares about the games. Because as it stands right now, the games that get played, they don't play those games like how they used to back in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. Like once they got to the mid 2000s and they went and switched it from switched it from being in front of the Super Bowl to after the Super Bowl. I think the last Pro Bowl that was after the Super Bowl was in 2010 or 11, somewhere around there. And then they put it in front of the Super Bowl. They put it in that little bye week before the Super Bowl. And then that's when we started getting how these players started, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and all these other guys who've been doing Pro Bowls for years, stopped doing the Pro Bowl, and then it started getting worn down. Kind of the same thing like the dunk contest in the NBA. Because LeBron James did go to the dunk contest, it no longer survived. Because before that, Michael Jordan participated in the dunk contest, I think 3 times. Trace McGrady was in the dunk contest. Kobe Bryant was in the dunk contest. All the other guys, Dominique Wilkins, all these other guys were in the dunk contest back in the day. Now you get to the new age. I'm in the dunk contest now. They have me out there now. Now they got me out there in the dunk contest. Now I can legitimately go on, put on a Magic jersey, and say, yeah, I'm in the dunk contest. Tell my name. They'll okay, yeah, cool, yeah, okay, we got you in spot such and such. Because they don't know. They don't know. They just be having people out there. They just be having people out there. Because everybody don't want to be in dunk contest anymore because they allow LeBron James to rule it by him declaring to be in the dunk contest. Because if he was in dunk contest, if LeBron would have been one dunk contest, just one throughout his career, the dunk contest would have survived. Because if he would have did it, Kevin Durant would have did it, and Melo would have did it, and Dwayne Wade would have did it, and then it's not Curry or Kyrie's game, but just these other stars that was coming up. I know Giannis actually did participate in a dunk contest, but other guys other guys who are popping up in this new age, because Jalen Green will be participating in it, and Paulo will be participating in it, and these other guys, these other guys will be participating. So if you could get Ja Morant and Zion to participate in it, it might can come back. But unless you do start having some of these other guys participating in some of these stars to participate in it, it's not going to survive. And that's what happens. That's what happened with the Pro Bowl. Exactly what happened with the Pro Bowl. Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and all these guys stopped participating in it partly because they was putting it in front of the Super Bowl instead of after the Super Bowl where it belongs. Because if you play in the Super Bowl, you're not about to play in the Pro Bowl. Play in the Super Bowl. You're not playing the Pro Bowl. So, it is what it is. But man, appreciate everybody that came through here, man. If you ain't hit that like button already, man, make sure you hit that like button. I've seen some people that jumped up in here, but the likes ain't really go all the way up. They went up, but they ain't really go up like they should have went up. So man, if you ain't hit that like button, make sure you hit that like button. Very, very key and vital to the algorithm. Every time you hit that like button, the more likes that go up. Anytime I go live, anytime I drop a video, those things get notified. Those things will be more aware. If you haven't got a chance to check out my last video talking about and breaking down exactly what happened with the primetime game and how the Houston Texans got the primetime game, exactly what does it mean, make sure you check it out. I know some of y'all, most of y'all, probably all of y'all already checked out already because it's going up crazy with the views. Like the views is going crazy. So if you ain't watched it, make sure you go watch it. And if you have watched it, maybe do your favorite, go watch it again. Like just go watch it. Just go watch it again. Show more love and support and go watch it again. That's all you gotta do. Go show some more support and love and watch it again. Like I said, make sure hit the like button. Shout out to everybody that came through. Like I said, man, we still in the race to get 6,000 subscribers. You know what that means? Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell another friend, tell some more friends, so they can tell some friends, so they can tell some more friends, and put them on game with the channel, so we get the channel growing and growing and growing. Can't do that, y'all, man. I need to get the 6,000 subscribers, so I need you to like, share, and subscribe. Man, get the channel growing, growing, growing. Really, really appreciate that. Now, y'all already know what it is. We doing a live video on Friday, breaking down and previewing the game. We probably gonna do it a little bit earlier. I know. I think last week I did it around 7:30, so probably around that time between 7:15, 7:30, somewhere in that realm or whatever. So be on the lookout. And even though the game is on Saturday, even though it's a prime time game, you still gonna get a post game after the game. So immediately after the game on Saturday, make sure you pull up right here. Immediately after the game, make sure you pull up right here. Right after the game, make sure you pull up right here. Immediately after the game, make sure you pull up. Make sure you pull up immediately after the game. We're going to do a post game. We should be in celebratory fashion. We should be in celebratory. I'm going to give you some drink. We should be in celebratory fashion celebrating the playoffs. So we're going to be drinking celebratory, or we're going to be drowning our sorrows. But anyway it goes. We're going to do a live immediately post game after the game. So make sure y'all pull up on Saturday night right here. Pull up on Friday, like I say, 7:15, 7:15, 7:30. Y'all be on the lookout on IG and also on the community tab wall, because I'm gonna post out and post it and let y'all know exactly when I decide to go live. So this is somewhere between 7:15, 7:30, somewhere in that realm type possibility, somewhere in there. So we're gonna do it a little bit earlier on Friday, and we definitely gonna do it immediately after the game on Saturday. So make sure y'all pull up and be ready. Make sure y'all pull up. Make sure y'all be ready. Make sure y'all pull up and be ready. Hey, it's about to go down. It's about to go down. What should I say? It's about to go. It's about to go down, man. So make sure y'all pull up. Like I said, make sure you hit that like button if you hit that like button already. Appreciate everybody coming through, kicking with your boy. Like, subscribe, click the bell, get more videos. I holla.